All right. Honk for Jesus. Toot toot. What? I don't know. Let's go. All right, Jessica, lead us into spoiler. Let's use your egg territory, whatever the fuck.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemens, and I'm so pumped to talk to you about the third episode because there's so many fun things that happened. We got Wong being just Wong.
Just Wong. And
more new characters to learn from, and as always, She-Hulk coming into herself. Plus, Megan, the mother effing stallion. It's like Jessica Gal said, Jessica Clemens of New Rockstars, we have an episode for you, and I said, bless up, baby. Also, I'd like to mention, because I've forgotten and I'm so sorry, our great partners over at the Epic Heroes Shop just released their Green Justice merch line inspired by She-Hulk. It's got several different t-shirt designs, including the newest limited edition latest obsession shirt, Lady
I don't remember
Justice.
them having
They're
one
also
for
dropping lines inspired by House of the
Miss
Dragon,
Marvel.
Andor, Rings of Power in the coming weeks. When purchased, you get an opportunity to get a shout out and
I like
such
that.
from Boss MT and I on Inside Marvel. What fun. Okay, now let's get into our episode 3 breakdown. Jen is storming the DODC like she's been there 100 times. As she walks through the lasers, I noticed the A113 on the wall and immediately went to A113 Pixar number. If you don't know, it's the classroom number used by a ton of Pixar alumni at the California Institute of the Arts, and it's hidden in a ton of Pixar movies. It's featured in Spider-Man Homecoming, Avengers Endgame, Guardians of the Galaxy, so it's not just in animation.
What?
They can project videos and images on
notice
your
that?
prison walls, which I think is pretty insane futuristic, but they do this almost in every Marvel movie, so it's not too new. Emil discloses, pretty late I might add, that Wong forced him out of prison, and he knew Wong's complete title, probably because Wong's been introducing himself as the Sorcerer Supreme since No Way Home, and I stand for it. Be proud, Wong. We see Wong's mock LinkedIn account. Nikki and Wong's mutual connection is Bruce. I love this confirmation that Avengers can have LinkedIn accounts, because I'm sure Tony had one. He's so proud to be the Sorcerer Supreme. He also marked full-time librarian at Carmitage for 11 years, and a Target sales
Yeah, the fact that
associate
you
for
caught
9 years.
Target
So
sales
my math
associate
is
was
correct,
hilarious.
give
I
or
was like,
take,
what?
We all know no one update for LinkedIn. Maybe just me. Wong was appointed Sorcerer Supreme in 2018 following the blip. 11 years before that as a librarian, so that's 2007. But for 9 years, he was a Target sales associate. So from 1998 to approximately 2007, Wong was training at Carmitage, but also side-gigged as a Target employee. Go off, King. Jen breaks the fourth
But for
wall.
some reason, he didn't have money for a sandwich?
I know you can't wait to see Wong. I get it.
Which we haven't really heard yet. It's hard to describe, but it's a sort of futuristic synthy wave passing between your left and right speakers. It's similar to the noise Tony's machine model makes in Endgame when it was a successful run. It seems like Jen knows it's the WCU, also known as the Wong Cinematic Universe, because she wants us to remember this show isn't about him, or Bruce, or Blonsky. It's She-Hulk, baby! Also, Jen, if that ain't a self-driving car, keep your hands 10 and 2. We get the pass-by effect introducing News Los Angeles Now, announcing Jennifer Walters is representing Emil Blonsky. They use the photo straight out of 2008's Incredible Hulk. Below the headline reads, superpowered influencer Titania speaks out about latest legal troubles, confident her legal team will make it go away, which shows that her altercation with Jen has not smoothed over in the slightest. We see the tattle news frame like E! Entertainment,
the Hong Kong
an
Fooey
anchor
kick.
played by Amanda Salas, who also is the entertainment anchor for Good Day LA. And another pass-by effect, we see just how popular She-Hulk is right now. On what I assume is YouTube, she's covered under the tag She-Hulk, News, and Superhero. She's being talked about in Despierta Daily News. There's theory videos on She-Hulk not being real, a hoax, conspiracy theories on this poor woman. Dear Lord, is this how I sound all the time? I hope not. They've also already started calling her the big green woman on the internet. This girl has gone viral. If you want to call me called
There you go.
the big green woman.
That was the other name.
Yeah.
It's the big
I'll
green
quickly
bitches.
explain the ups and downs
This
of all
big green
She-Hulk
woman.
online. But first we get a nonsensical man, I made that up, played by Rory Asplund, who was featured in episode 1 of She-Hulk as a stunt performer. I think he might have been the guard on the right. We get mixed sexist comments from people like Dom the Bounty Hunter, Hard Silk,
Affirmative action.
Darby Don't Care. TikToks, emojis, memes, more unwanted male commentary, and I'm about to Hulk out just reading and listening to them all. She's being covered on the news, the conversation with Jefferson Coop. We meet Blonsky's former attorney, Gideon Wilson, played by Jason Turner, who A, we didn't see in The Incredible Hulk or anything else, and B, is Sam Wilson's brother. In the comics, Gideon
Really?
appears in War Hulk Gamma Corps #1. He was Sam and Sarah's older brother. When he joined the Gamma Corps, they were basically made to take down the Hulk. He was super supportive of his brother becoming Captain America, but Gideon's story in the comics is super rough. His son died from AIDS, and he took his anger basically out on the Hulk. It's pretty sad, but it's a good comics. It's good.
Oh,
but
so he fought Hulk when he came back as World War Hulk.
That
Nice.
we know of.
I don't recall that one. It must have been one of them like small side stories.
But maybe Gideon, as the oldest, left far before Sam and Sarah could remember. There's a lot of theories that could be made, but I think it's important to note that they chose Gideon Wilson as the character to prosecute Abomination in the past rather than anyone else. If you're full of chivalry and really want to address someone as Lord and Lady, established titles can make it official. Established titles.
Like, why the fuck did you change? But also,
that shirt is good. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, that shirt's
as little as 1
stupid.
square foot.
I like the whole whatever the fuck she got going on. I like that shit.
I don't.
I just need her to get rid of that fucking wife
It's a
beater
fun way to help
underneath.
preserve the beautiful woodlands.
That's what's throwing it off. But I guess she can't because
conservation efforts. Established titles works with the global
I don't think she
charity
went abroad in
for
that.
future and
Maybe she
one
is.
tree
I don't know.
planted to help
She ain't
plant
never
a tree
live
from every order. Plus, for those with Scottish heritage, it is a great way to connect with your family roots. Your title pack gives you a numbered plot of dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. You
Not that
can
it's
change
important,
your name on the credit cards, claim
but
tickets,
is it a
and
wig?
profiles. Get a couple packs
Or is it
for
her
you and your
hair?
partner with adjoining plots of land.
It's
You
a
can
wig.
literally have this gift ready in 5 minutes. And here's a detail you missed.
I knew
This
it was.
book-
I thought I'd ask.
But I'm gonna get my own because established titles told me that the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using our link will effectively be next to each other within a few minutes walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our little new Rockstars kingdom. Take that, Philip! Use code Rockstars to get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/Rockstars to get your gifts now. Take it away, Jessica. We're introduced to Mallory Book officially, played by Renee Ellis Goldsberry. If you remember, this is the woman from Hamilton, who's an amazing singer, but also a phenomenal actress. Just a reminder, in the comics, she was an amazing lawyer, but just a rival to Jen and Superman. I didn't really like her. It's revealed Dennis was dating a shapeshifter who made himself look like Megan the Stallion, and Jen does my job breaking it down who she is so I don't have to.
Sorry, you thought you were dating Megan the Stallion? Multiple Grammy Award winner megastar Megan the Stallion?
What part of Shapeshifter did you not get?
You thought she drove up a sub?
More specifically,
That's the part that got me.
who we later found out is the daughter of an elven diplomat of Asgard and now New Asgard. The Light Elves have been pretty good to most knowledge. They're native to Alfheim, one of the 9 realms conquered by Odin. Wong appears!
Yeah,
Behind him,
that's
it
right.
looks like a
They do
living
something.
room. There's a couch, coffee table, some chairs, and nice lights. It's a mood-setting room. It's probably a concierge. Cat's out the bag. Wong forced Abomination out of
So,
prison because he
is this
used a word
before or
they
after
to train to be the sorcerer
Multiverse
supreme.
of Chaos or
Wong
whatever the
mentioned
fuck?
that he's aware of the
Yes,
spell that
what I
wipes
said.
everyone's memory of knowing Peter Parker because Doctor Strange basically had to ask him permission to do it. If you remember, after acknowledging, Wong left saying, "Just leave me out of this." He also adds, "It's very messy," which could refer to all those unanswered questions people have about it. Wong goes on to share some advice saying, we'll send him to the mirror dimension, the parallel dimension that allowed people to practice magic and fight. You remember in Doctor Strange. Then offering the shadow dimension, which I don't think is the shadow realm necessarily, but he meant the dark dimension where we last saw Clea and Doctor Strange headed to in Multiverse of Madness. We get a shot of Pug's laptop. He has you screen.
Yeah, I was thinking that the little
watching
Dormammu
the Megan
one.
the Stallion imposter fight at Celebrate with a QR code. On the right, videos like Pony Imposter thinks it's the Spider-Man 3's honest review. I really want to click on it. Malgrado Tay, a short film written and directed by Kevin Rodengen, who does VFX for She-Hulk series. Kevin, I'm sorry for butchering your name, but I'm still gonna respect you. Here's the story. And my favorite bear fight. Once Pug recognizes it's Runa and not Dennis, we get the Jaws-like zoom in. It's so funny to me, maybe because while he's quiet, Dennis thinks it's because he has a Tesla Cybertruck. You know, those like super ugly cars that Tesla made.
What?
We're back to the DODC
What?
prison. The same red lasers that Jen has to walk through to see Emil are outside. We're with KNBS News. The anchor is played by real-life journalist Sharon Reed. The man with KAJE3
Yeah, who is this
asked
nigga?
Jen if it's true she's been rejected by the Avengers. And in the show, we know that's a blatant lie. Even in the comics, she's left and returned a ton of times, but has never been rejected by them. She's been fired, yes, but that's a different kind of rejection, if you know what I mean. We meet the soulmates, and boy, was I right. Blair, Ruth, Marta, Sheila, Alejandra, Yvonne, and Nicolette, his better apes. Blonsky plans on making a meditation retreat on his plot of land, which, possible spoilers, I'm so sorry, I think we saw in the trailers already at what I assumed was the group therapy. Blonsky's first preliminary witness is the literacy program guy, Sean Holt, played by Burke Brown, the prison counselor, Amy Chance, played by Jennifer Van Horn, and the crying guard, Carl Coward, played by Robert Stevens Wayne. Now, according to Jen's document,
Carl.
they don't match what was assigned in the credits. This could just be a little mistake in post, or Jen genuinely confused with their job. I think it's the first one, which is no biggie. I just have to acknowledge it. And if at this part you were like, I don't know what a shiv is, it's a shame, which I keep in my sock at all times. It's a breakdown. If someone doesn't know what a shiv is, I have to explain it. Wong says this.
Have you ever heard of a kumite?
Insinuating it might take a little longer until Emil truly gets his verdict, but also the kumite covers a lot of things. It's one of the three.
I'm so upset that the Boondocks ruined that for me. There we go.
We get a better look at Judge Price, played by George Bryant, and Runa's lawyer, Lauren Jesper, played by Ruth Kaufman.
Ew.
When this is said by Judge Price,
She may have diplomatic immunity in New Asgard, but we are not in New Asgard.
it's a tricky answer, mainly because I'm not a lawyer. But according to the United Nations Treaty Collection, modern diplomat immunity was codified as international law in the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, which has been ratified by the US and Norway, which is home to New Asgard. So basically, we agreed in Article 9 that we, the US, can consider someone as unwelcome, but we still have to let their home state know. If we don't hear back in a certain period of time or they refuse, we can ask them to leave the US, or we can cancel the diplomat's visa and bar them and their families from returning to the United States ever again. So when Judge Price said that, he could be referring to the fact that New Asgard is its own country within Norway and has different diplomatic immunity. Or maybe because Runa has it in New Asgard doesn't mean the US gave it to her. To be fair, New Asgard isn't that old, and I don't know how the UN handles previously signed treaties with new cities within old countries, but I assume they fall under Norway's jurisdiction. If you're a lawyer, just hit me up, or if you have better knowledge of international
I just assume it means if you're not in New Asgard, the rules out here apply differently. So all that bullshit that you're talking about diplomatic community, that shit don't fly here because you're terrorizing our citizens.
It is a people. Therefore,
Thor's inspirational speeches are not admissible in court.
Asgard is not a place. It's a people.
When Thor
Emil
was
turns into
a lot better.
Abomination, and he is just so gentle picking up his shoes. As we know, this Abomination favors more to the comics, hence his little gilly gills.
Yep.
What I really hate, though, in this scene is how much his partner swooned over him changing into Abomination.
Yes,
It
sir.
just makes me
Like,
want to
busting
throw
nuts?
myself out of a moving car, you know? It's just like...
Why you show that one?
And he's waving at them in the reflection. It's so... I don't want to yuck anyone's
Yeah,
yum.
they want him to Abomination out
He's a wanted
and
man,
them.
a criminal for helping facilitate.
But that's against the
escape.
rules.
Let's keep that noted because Wong is now a wanted man. The KNBS News 6 reporter mentions this.
Is there any truth to the rumors you got your powers from a mafia hit gone wrong?
Which happened in the original
Yeah.
comics. Crime boss Nicholas
Hence the
Trask
need for
Bruce shot
the
and seriously
blood
injured Jen,
transfusion,
warranting
yeah.
a blood transfusion from Bruce, giving her abilities. In the back, we see KCAV35, which we haven't seen in the MCU, but is the news station for Breaking Bad. I'm rewatching Breaking Bad right now.
Still need to
The app on
finish.
Nikki's phone is Snafu, which is a satirical comic book from the
Obama
1950s.
baby!
Marvel Comics made it to mimic Mad Magazine, written by Stan Lee. Catch here when Jem breaks the fourth wall. These duo don't notice, but Hulk noticed in the first episode. So maybe it's like the family shared DNA can recognize it. Another anecdote we can see more of as the series goes on, but worth noting as the idea that only certain folks can see it. Seeing as you can get up to 3 years in jail or prison for false impersonation in California, 60 days is a great punishment. But again, not a lawyer. Please don't use me as a cause to any of your crimes, people. I
Why
will freak
that?
out. I screamed so loud when Megan Thee Stallion presented herself in that whole church peep getup. And
Yeah,
I'm
that
that
I'm not gonna lie,
person
that
next
shit
to
was
her
kind of cute.
is just as shook as I am. Signature included. So when Dennis mentioned making sure Runa could never trick anyone again with her powers, it was right on the nose that Jen would think about using the inhibitor. Remember, Bruce had it in the first episode. Now this tricky instrument could open the door to the Mutant Registration Act we saw in X-Men. Seeing as we're already acknowledging mutants
terrible.
exist in the MCU, basically the Mutant Registration Act identified and tracked all mutants, but could set up any vigilante to target registered mutants. Regardless, capturing people and using an inhibitor immediately sounds like a fine idea until someone is falsely prosecuted, wrongfully imprisoned, or killed while in holding. It's not as easy as Jen thinks, and this could set up shop for a very dangerous game. On Citizen News tonight, the news anchor is played by Bob DeCastro, who is also on Fox 11 LA. She finally interviews, and it's a giant step for She-Hulk, and I'm so proud. No pun intended. I just love her, and I'm glad at how she's doing it.
Was it a
Her
positive
naked son,
experience?
she gets jumped by
That's
this
not
man in a yellow helmet, and this guy who has purple emitting glow from his gloves, and this guy with a blue emitting crowbar,
Yep.
and this man at the end has a pinkish ball and chain. We later find out that one of the men is named
Wrecking
Thunderbolt,
Ball,
and
Thunderbolt.
oh baby, wait till you get a gander at this crew. Now, you might have seen seems
there you go.
Mightiest Heroes fighting Thor or
Yep.
Ultimate Spider-Man, but they are the supervillain team known as the Wrecking Crew.
Wrecking
These jokers on
Crew,
their
fuck.
shirts, why do they have shirts for their crimes? Their story is pretty wild and chaotic. Dirk Garthwaite, aka the Wrecker, broke into Loki's home with a crowbar, and right as Loki was getting powers from Carnella, Dirk got in the way and got it. He later fought Thor, and his powers transferred from him to his crowbar, but in prison he met ex-physicist Elliot Franklin, aka Thunderbolt, Brian Koleski, aka Piledriver, and ex-Army Sergeant Henry Camp, aka Bulldozer. When they broke free, they retrieved the magical crowbar. They really stood in the lightning storm, pulled a Shazam, and each got a piece of its power. They each have distinct weapons they use. So Bulldozer has his armored helmet, neck, shoulder covers. Wrecker has his crowbar. Thunderbolt has a ball and chain, and Piledriver has huge hands that are super strong. They fought in secret wars. They've even assisted in Hood's criminal syndicate during the Skrull invasion. So ultimately, we could see more of them since we're headed in that direction already. But
Yes,
they
sir.
did steal these weapons from an Asgardian construction worker. So maybe the origins may change a little.
Of
Their
course,
backstory
yeah.
in She-Hulk could also be different from the comics. But these characters in the comics are around all the time, fighting everyone and
Everyone.
losing. Now, for the real question. Who's their boss? And here's my theories. In the comics, they worked under the Hood, who we know is coming into Ironheart, and they worked under
I didn't know that.
Demo, who led the Masters of Evil and fought the Thunderbolts. So those two characters are two big deals because they're getting them in another
Ooh,
series.
what if- oh, I was about to say, what if it's
Lear from
Zemo?
Incredible Hulk. He was super excited to work with Banner and with his
Ooh, if they
blood,
bring
he
him
could
back
go
as the
off
leader, that would be
She-Hulk
crazy.
Or lastly, they could be working for Leapfrog.
That would make
Hey,
so
it's
much sense if
Franklin.
if it's
He's a
him.
more rich version of Leapfrog trying to make up for what his dad couldn't, and he has his own team of dudes. The episode closes Yonaka sees the power. I love this song. This is the first piece of new material since 2019, and they even said in an interview, we want you to get lost in a feeling of strength and empowerment when listening to this song, and I want that to be completely true. Though Jen looks defeated in this last scene looking at her reflection, it feels like the ending of every Euphoria episode. I just want this to be the look of a woman who does recognize, yeah, maybe her whole life is over, but she's a superhero now.
That's funny.
First thinking, I can't do this.
That was
I
actually
don't
a
want to
really
do
good
this. I want
comparison.
her confident. I just want her courageous. We get a new courtroom illustration of Blonsky on his release shuttle with his 7 partners happily crying and waving him off goodbye. We get Nikki's thirst trap with the books in a library. To
Right, because she did say that. I
Then
did not pay
taking
that any
Megan Thee
mind.
Stallion out on a very luxurious date, assuming that's not actually Megan, but maybe Runa. Megan Thee Stallion is Jen's latest client, and let me tell you, I've never been happier. This is like watching your two very best different friends meet and become best friends. This is like the first time you put peanut butter and chocolate together. This is my two favorite things coming together. If they somehow put anime in this, I just explode. And to top it all off, they're twerking. They close the episode to Body by Megan Thee Stallion, and if you told me 5 years ago Kevin Feige would approve of the hot ebony,
Right,
Tina Snow,
'cause who
aka
knew?
Megan Thee Stallion would be canon in the MCU, I'd say, are you lying? Oh, that's everything I spotted in the 3rd episode of She-Hulk. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lulu_Clemens. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more breakdowns of everything you love. Thanks for watching.
Really? I love it even more now, knowing all the information that I missed and the things I already knew, but then the like other things I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, if it's what's his face as the leader, that would make so much more sense. Because remember, the blood dripped on his head and started to transform or whatever, but nothing became of it. So unless you knew his name in the comics and stuff like that, you would have never known that he's the leader. So that would make sense. Because he ran with the Wrecking Crew a lot, like he always would hire them. And he was the only one that would probably know anything about Hulk blood having that type of relation. But then it just goes back to the Asgardian weapons. It's like, well, where did you get that shit from?
eBay.
Yo, that'd be wild. Somebody in Asgard was desperate and was just like, I need money. I'm gonna sell our construction equipment because we're done rebuilding here. Crowbar, mitts, helmet, wrecking ball.
I'll say this chomper ball from Mario.
Chain chomp.
There we go.
Yeah. I always get him. I was about to say, call him Bill. That's Bullethead Bill. That's a Bullethead Bill. Yeah, chain chomp. Yeah. Again, a lot of these things I knew. Some things I didn't catch because, like, why the fuck would I notice A13 anywhere or what it even means? Even knowing that information now, I don't give a fuck, but I mean, it's still good information to know, I guess, because it's throughout a lot of Pixar things, I suppose. But yeah, Yeah, I'm more excited about the Wrecking Crew than anything else. That's my takeaway.
They fought a lot.
They were some menacing bad guys, like some like real like mercenaries for hire. And they weren't even mercenaries; they were just thieves.
They were just
and people here who just came to start shit and stall for whatever reason. They
Like,
got
hey,
beat by a lot of people.
Hey, we need a decoy. We got you.
Pretty much.
That's what they were.
And they coordinated really well together. Like they gave Thor a run for his money
A couple times.
Yes, a whole demigod, the king of Asgard, and just wailed on this nigga. I mean, they would lose in the end. The Thor's all powerful and shit, but like still, they whooped his ass a lot. Hulk too, a lot of powerful people, a lot of strong motherfuckers. Like Captain America against them, no. Iron Man against them, no. Like Thor, Hulk. They would have had to really like do some shit to like get them to talk about the way. Yeah, see, this is the part of She-Hulk where I'm like, get us into this shit. Like, that's where I want to go. I want to go down these rabbit holes. And now that Taika's fucking out of there, thank God, we could probably focus back on more Asgardian-esque things since Asgard's already fucking blown up and blown to smithereens. Like, can't even visit that realm anymore. But that doesn't mean that we can't visit other realms out there. Shit, I don't think we've been to Niflheim with all the fairies and shit. Where the light fairies have been. We've only been to Svartalheim. I can't remember the one with the frost giants, but that one. And I kind of think that's it. Have we been to other places? I don't know. There's a lot of areas in Thor. This is why I hated the way Thor went, because there was so much Asgard and there was so much shit surrounded with Asgard and Thor that we did not get. There was a lot of Thor villains that we did not get. I'm not gonna go on a tangent about that because I can go on that shit for a minute. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more of this as we update, because we'll keep updating. And until next time for episode 4, and then episode 4 breakdown following that, we'll be here telling it like it is.